there was some rumors going around that you had had some talks with the Metamoris people about potentially competing in like the third or maybe a future event. Is there any truth to that? And whether or not it is, would you like to compete in a jiu-jitsu tournament like that?
I mean, people have kind of thrown the idea around, but it's just I got so much going on, you know, and it's the scheduling's the hardest thing. Like I can't even go to I lost my makeup bag in Vegas. This was weeks ago. I still haven't got a new makeup bag because I just can't go shopping. Like I just don't have time for anything. And Metamoris is a huge, it requires like a whole camp and like everything. And I really think that I would be more inclined to pursue like Metamoris and Abu Dhabi and all those kind of things when I'm retired from MMA and I still want to fight, you know, somewhat, but kind of like on my own schedule and, you know, just not as intense as like UFC events are. And so that would probably be something that I'd be thinking of later down the line because I know there's a lot of jiu-jitsu people that don't think so much of my grappling. So I would love to have a new arena to prove myself.
How does that make you feel when like jiu-jitsu people come at you and they say no, you don't have the most skill or what have you? What goes through your head when you hear that kind of thing?
I think that because the idea of jiu-jitsu itself is supposed to be in the mixed martial arts environment, that's why they really started the UFC, was to showcase the effectiveness of jiu-jitsu. So if I'm really able to showcase the effectiveness of what I call newaza in judo, is the same thing. If I do it extremely well in MMA, then I actually do it in a more realistic venue than the actual jiu-jitsu practitioners do, if you think of the actual idea behind it. So as a jiu-jitsu purist, seeing that I can make it work in an MMA environment, you would say that you could say that I'm actually better at jiu-jitsu than people do it in just a jiu-jitsu environment. Because jiu-jitsu wasn't created for jiu-jitsu rules, jiu-jitsu was created for fights. So you can't really hate on it so much. I have a lot of respect for it, you know, I'm not saying that I'm better than everyone in jiu-jitsu, I'm not saying that at all. I think that's awesome. I think it's so great that they do competitions like that and really gives a model for other, you know, sports like judo that really don't do anything smart marketing-wise at all to promote their fights, you know, and I love jiu-jitsu, but it's just like, I just hope that one day they can have as much respect for me as I have for them.
Any desire, I mean, you talk about wanting to do things once you retire from MMA, but is there any desire to maybe compete in one of those grappling tournaments like the IBJJF or anything like that to prove that you could hold your own with a gi on in jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't have the time, man.
Right.
I don't have the time. I don't. If they come up with enough money to make it worth my time right now, I mean, my time is more valuable right now. Later, when I'm retired, it won't be as valuable and I'll be able to take time. But I just can't right now. And, you know, I grappled before, and it was actually, I didn't get the warmest reception at grappling tournaments. People really discounted me because I was from judo, and like I would go to some tournaments because I needed the money for the open division and stuff like that. And like I remember a window broke in my car, and there was an open like grappling thing with like men and women, open division, you know, $500 worth. I'm like, that'll fix my window. And I woke up Valentine's Day morning, pouring rain, drove all the way down there, and then I get there and they're like, oh yeah, well there's not enough girls, so we're just gonna have a men and women's open division. And these guys are like 250 pounds. I'm like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, just throw me in with the black belt chicks. They're like, well, you're not a black belt. We don't think you can, you know, you're from judo. And I'm like, can you just put all the black belts together in one division and let me beat up all of them? And then they were like, fine, whatever. And I'm like, oh yeah, and you guys took back the whole like grand prize thing. I want my money back. I want to compete for free. And so I got them to let me compete for free, beat up all the girls, and left pissed off with a broken window. So, and there was enough girls for an open division. Oh, come on, I thought there was like 6 chicks in that division. You couldn't like really cough it up. And so yeah, my grappling experiences weren't that great. I ended up costing me money in gas.